Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you are in the world. Um, Good morning from my mountain. Today we're gonna do a reading. We're gonna talk about a few things. Usually, I will sit down in front of my decks and ask who needs to come. These are the decks that came today. This particular deck has been on my mind for a few days. This is called the Avian Tarot, and this is by Brittany Lynn Batchelder. I used it last week. I don't use it very often. It is an absolutely beautiful deck. All of the decks we're going to use today have a specific reason why we're going to use them today. I sat and listened. I've been channeling a little bit, but we'll talk about this. This particular deck, I bought this deck in Denver after purchasing this for someone else in Raleigh. Um, so I was in Raleigh a couple of years ago, last year, I can't even remember, two years ago at this point, and went to meet a friend who was there. I went to stay with one friend, and I went to go meet another friend who was coming into town, and we went and did some fun things, went and got tattoos, and got to know each other a little better. The interesting thing about that is this particular deck I was looking at in a shop and had it in my hands and was going to pick it up for myself. And someone came to me that worked there and said to me, "No, I think that this deck is for you." Excuse me, no, correct, that's incorrect. This deck, the Tarot of the Divine, I grabbed the wrong book coloring, is for you. And I looked at them at the same time, and I knew and I understand that this was definitely my deck for the moment and at the time. So I picked it up and went about my way. About, I don't know, a few months later, my friend that I got tattoos with was doing a show in Denver. And so I flew out to meet her. She had two shows, one at Mission Ballroom and the other one at Red Rocks the next day. And went out looking with another friend, which is even wilder, that I go to Denver to see one friend, and a friend that I worked with, my favorite person that I worked with when I ran the store in New York, who was from Oregon, who, to my knowledge, had been living in Hawaii for 10 years, had recently, in the past, I'll say recently, within that past year, had moved to Denver. So now I'm in this space where I am walking around in their neighborhood, and we're going to go get a cup of coffee, and then there's a little mystical shop, and we walk in. And as soon as I walk in, the first deck that I walk to, what do you think it is? It's this one. And so I was like, okay, this has happened twice in a very short period of time. I've not even looked at decks any other time than those two particular times to purchase for myself, I should say. So this one wound up coming home with me from Denver. So now my friend and I both own this same deck, which is really interesting. One of the other things about this deck, this is the second oldest deck that I own, and this is a Rider-Waite deck. I don't even have a booklet or anything for it. I just know it like the back of my hand. I've used this deck with that friend before, and in that reading with that friend, or the only time I've ever seen this in I've ever even heard of it happening, and I wouldn't even believe it myself. I think I would question myself had she not been there and another friend had not been there to witness it. But this particular person pulled 4 knights out of this deck in a row. All 4 of them. All 4. All 4. Never seen that before in my life. I don't know if I'll ever see it again. Really interesting. So then we'll move over to the Light Seers Tarot. And this is interesting. Knight of Swords. I picked up the deck to pull it off the shelf, and this was the card that stuck to the bottom. And I had to pull it off. It was like still on the shelf. And so I went over and grabbed it. Once again, Knight of Swords. Communication, information. We're doing a reading right now. Coming in fast. So that goes with this Lightseer Tarot. This deck has been used. It was actually used in Denver. And has been used in multiple different readings. And that will lead us to this sweet little oracle deck. And I love that I picked it up and this card flipped over. So it says healing and it has Ginkgo biloba on it. So we're going to leave that particular card out as a guidance, and we're going to leave the Knight of Swords out as a guidance. But this deck, this oracle deck, was given to me by someone. Are you ready? Because you got to be ready for this one. Who literally tried to curse me. Not even a joke. They had this particular deck in their possession because they said that their decks weren't working anymore. I had to leave this one on my porch for 3 days. Clear it again. Clear it again. I left it for another 10 days. And then I left it on a sunny day, completely spread out, outside underneath a tulip poplar. Just out there for everything and everybody. And I was going to either give or get rid of this deck. I was encouraged by my other yogis and my other seers to say, you know, this deck has been there. We've used this multiple times. That deck is really sad. So if you don't think that things can't hold energy, they truly can. But this became a building block for understanding of the 3 things that came. And so we're going to put her over here as well. But yeah, I mean, literally someone tried to curse me. So we're going to talk a little bit about what happens when someone turns on you for a reading as well. I also have these these cubes, and they came with something else many years ago, and I don't even know what they came with. I may have gotten rid of it, but I love these cubes because they have words like selflessness. We're going to leave that because that's what we rolled. We've got healing. And they have words like display. So it says to display your selflessness. It's a good time of year to do that. This became a very selfish act. Even within myself, I was battling back and forth of what to say or what to do. When I'd done multiple readings for someone, even over a year or so. And let me preface this by saying, I will never, ever, ever reach out to you for a reading. Never. Unless you have asked me to let you know that I am in your area. Period. So this person had reached out to me each time with each reading. This person was hiding the fact that they were seeing a medium. They were lying to the partner within their life. And when all of that fell apart, it became the responsibility of the reader who told them it was going to fall apart. All of a sudden they're mad. I'm not responsible for what happens in your life. But please recognize and understand that you can't ask someone to do a reading for you and then turn on them. I've had this happen multiple times throughout my life. It's not because of anything I've done. I understand that people aren't ready for what they think they are. I had someone ask me the other day, talk about doing readings, and they said, just leave the bad stuff out. And I was like, immediately said, no, that's not how I work and I won't read you. If you are looking to leave the bad stuff out of your life and not work through it, you're just going to stay exactly where you are. Unless you dig down in the dirt, pull it up out, you're only going to stay the same, and you will not evolve, and you will carry the shame in the head around you. Don't do that. Don't allow others to take your joy from that and shame you for the messages that they seek. Don't shoot the messenger. Very much so. Knight of Swords. Don't shoot the messenger. Swords, air, communication, coming in fast. This Knight means that things are coming in fast. Something's coming and disruptive. So, doesn't mean it's bad disruptive though. This also means that there's a healing here to come, and that's what's going on right now. So, let's look at our decks and let's pull some cards. I'm going to, because we've talked about some little bit of energy, and I'm getting poked in my right hand side, which is the male side, the sun side. If you aren't aware of that, your right hand side is always your, we all have this, whether you're male or female, or wherever you lie within, if you are non-binary, it does not matter. You will have a side that resonates that is more male, and another side that will resonate as more female, and that is just simply because there's two energies there that come together within the chakra systems. So here what we're going to do is we're going to take my little chimes, my sweet little chimes that were given to me by a mentor, and we're just going to do 3 little rings to clear the energy, and then we're going to do our little reading for the day. Okay? All right, here we go. I'll take a breath in. I'm going to release it. And I'll say thank you to my ancestors and to my guides and whoever's here to help us today. Here we go. All right. So what we're going to do first, we're going to look at this little deck guidebook by Angel Skog, and once again I will put these in the comment section. Let's see what healing says, because that's where we are. Let's see what happens. Healing. There is a great potential for healing in your situation. Whatever you are going through, it can be a big blessing in disguise. This card can also show that healing is necessary for a successful outcome or forward movement. Forward movement. Move through what you're going through. All right. So we're going to place this little deck up here for just a moment. We're going to place it to the side. Place our little pieces of selenite. I'm really drawn to, and I'm just going to be very honest, I don't use, I just don't use this deck with other people anymore. This deck right here is pretty much just my deck. I will bring it out occasionally if I'm in a personal reading with you. Unless you are a friend of mine, this deck will not come out in a business reading. So, and by the way, yes, I do readings. Whenever, if you're interested, just say something in the comment section. You can also go to my Instagram or my Facebook at Melly Moon Medium, and you can message me there or leave a comment. I may have my messaging turned off. But you can leave a comment. You can also email me at mdtharriss@icloud.com. And we can set up something if that's something you're interested in. Yes, I do them via Zoom, and I will do them via FaceTime if that's preferable for you. But it depends on what you need and what you want. If you do live with me, you have an option of tea service that is an extension of time and a little bit of extra money, not too much. I don't like to, because I love the tea service, I don't like to add too much to it. But just know that those are options for you. So here, let's start out. Wow. Whoa. This is amazing. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. This is, wow. To start the deck out, to start this reading out today with this deck of mine, to have the Ten of Pentacles, just wow. Okay, so we're going to lay you here. I'm going to talk about, so 10 Pentacles. Pentacles represents 10 coins. So first of all, you're going to go from an ace to a 10. And 10 is reaching that heart, that home. 10 Pentacles is the ultimate of finding what it is that you desire financially in support. It also is a male card. Oh, wow. So I was going to actually go out. I was one of the thoughts that I had, because I want to do a reading for myself later. I almost just pulled out this card. So this is the Magician. I almost pulled this card out of one of these decks just to set it up as the feeling for the day. Now the Magician, well, let's talk about this incredible creature. So the Magician has cups, swords, staves, pentacles. And if you'll notice, there's an infinity sign as well. This is the first card, number 1. Only one other card stands in front of this one, and that is the Fool of 0. This Magician calls in all of the power of all of the things. Now, do understand that this is a very powerful card, especially to pull with this one. But do understand that this comes with a lot of chaos. But we're in Scorpio chaos season. So, there we go. Wow. I'm going to leave those two there for a moment. Oh, one of my, I love this card so much. So, we have your Six of Swords. She is moving away from a situation. She's taking all of her swords with her, or he, whomever you may be. There's a child sitting next to you, and that can either represent your inner child, which right now for me on my personal level, this would represent my inner child. This can also represent someone, or even it can either be a child, or it can also just be someone a little younger than you that needs some help and guidance that you're helping, but get out of this space and understanding. But here, moving away from whatever the situation is. You're just going to move away from it. This is the financial whatever. You're moving. There's been alchemy that's occurred. Also, one of the things I'm wearing I don't know if you can see them, and I'm going to show you guys my face too. So if you can see, I'm wearing these earrings that my daughter gave me. One of them is a Magician, and one of them is the Sun. So she bought them for me very specifically. I'm a Sun sign, I'm a Leo, and then the Magician also has the infinity in it, which also attaches to Leo very frequently, but she calls me the Magician at times. We're going to switch over And we're going to pull some from this avian deck. I do not, ooh, that one almost fell off. I'm going to turn it over, those two. I don't use this deck. I've been trying to figure out exactly why. I've almost been a little apprehensive of it or afraid of it. And I think it's because of the energy that that came within the period of time of which this deck was purchased. I'm talking some crazy nut stuff. Whoa, 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 whoa. We have the Ten of Cups. The ultimate wish card. Wow. This card represents all of the love, the hope, everything you've wanted. Family. This is what you're full of. You have everything that you desire and need, even if you don't think that you do. Everything is there. It's making me tear up, folks. I'm not going to pull these yet. 8 Swords. Moving past the 7 into the 8. So 8 of Swords. This has a white-breasted wren. 8 Swords represents being trapped, but with having the ability to untrap yourself. I view this card frequently as my own revelator. Like Gillian Welch would say, I'm the revelator. I have the ability to know that I can take these swords and I can cut my own binds. I can cut everything that ties me within my mind and my soul, and even finances, any of those things. I have the ability to look forward and move forward. Think of bouncing back. Think of a reflection on the swords, bouncing back and bouncing away. Two of Cups reversed. So, 2 cups. 2 cups there. 2 people looking longingly into each other. These things, this heart. When the cups are all spilled out, it's hard to find your focus and balance. These hands are 2 empty cups, my friends would say. Sorry, I can't even speak correctly today. These hands are 2 empty cups, she would sing. Does sing. The Mother card. So we have the Empress, the Swan, and she is in reverse. So this is telling me between all of this, there's some mother wounds going on. There's some heart, something that has to do with children, or lack thereof, loss. You could be the child. You could be moving into a position where you're becoming the parent, for your mother. But this is something that's moving into whatever that is. Wow. We have 4 of Cups, and it is reversed. So all of these last 3 cards have all been reversed. So this is kind of telling us what this has been and what you're moving out of. So you got these 4 cups. So 4 cups. I'll let you look at it. And this is a robin. It's really funny because robins steal things from other. They're infamous for stealing from other birds' nests. But 4 cups, you generally have these things and you can't see what you have. There's more to come, there's more things, but Four Cups, you're just sort of like feeling melancholy, you're just not really like, eh. But the cups have been turned upside down, and you're kind of like, what am I missing? And you're starting to try to understand that you got to spill this stuff out and get rid of it before you can move further. So we're going to leave that for now. We're only going to pull one more of these cards for now. We'll pull this one's on top. Oh, Mandarin Duck, Knight of Cups. This male-centered energy, whether it be you, someone else. This night brings you love and full of heart happiness. And so these things that have been going on, all of this seems to have, sort of starting to heal itself and move forward. I'll understand what that means. So we're going to put this deck down here for just a moment, and let's pull an oracle card or two. Actually, let's don't do that yet. Let's go ahead and pull let's do our Light Seers deck now, and then we'll pull oracles to go with each. So I shuffle my decks before I put them away on my shelf. Whoa, that one. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. That one literally, like my hand, it was just, it was kind of crazy. The Tower. I just talked about leaving all of this behind. This deck outside next to a tree. I even put an acorn inside the tree with it and everything that sat with it. This is the Tower. The collapse. The big one. But it's so beautiful because the things that can build it around this. So this is really cool. There's a breakdown of something that is really just some clearing of get this crap out of here. We have a full moon, super full moon in a couple of days. And by the way, the 20th of November is actually Celtic Samhain. So energy is really wild right now. The Fool in reverse. There's the Fool. She's looking, she's ready. Gonna go somewhere. Well, Fool in reverse represents stalemate. Something isn't not going on a trip. Not leaving the space. Staying where you are for the moment. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So the Queen of Pentacles is she's the one that she's just gonna love, heart home. She also has a more male energy to her because she is dealing in material. So we're dealing with material here. So here, material, heart, home, things, material, home, something there, either movement going. Let's ask a question, see what this means. So something that's been moving, so it looks like something. So this is the Four of Wands. And so whatever has not been happening here is about to start to, is changing, because the Four of Wands represents the celebration of coming through. If you think about wands and you think about these four wands, you've got literally like 2 11s on each side. So you've almost got like 11, 11 as a representation of rolling through with these four wands and the fire that burns the light in front of them, which creates Once again, we're talking about material. It can be a job, it can be a home, it can be things. But there's this also has, this is an earth sign, along with, um, not earth sign, I'm so sorry. This is a fire sign. So with this fire sign that goes with this earth sign, you are moving. There's energy there. So here, we're going to place this here. We're going to pull two of these cards because they're sticking out. So we're going to leave those here. Love this. Okay, so first card I looked at was the hangman, hanged woman. Love this. And it's in reverse. So here, the hangman represents suspension and hanging in that space and time and learning those lessons there. Well, here in reverse, it represents, in my mind, in my interpretation, people have different interpretations, but whenever you have this in reverse, it reminds me of, well, you just now got to kind of let go and go on. It's time. If you look at this in the original Rider-Waite deck, if you turn it upside down, it looks like someone is standing on their tippy toes and dancing, and now it looks as if they have a halo. So this is release from what you've been hanging and waiting on. And the Queen of Wands. So whoever you're dealing with, this is in reverse. And you can see fire sign, fire. So there's somebody here you're dealing with that is just a lot to do. Just a lot to do. I can be a lot to do, but this is a lot to do. They are demanding. They're just not really quite grasping that there are other people around them. I don't like to use the word narcissism because it is overused and people don't really understand the clinical observation of this word, and how it gets there. I am feeling some narcissistic values arising. So that might be what's going on there. That can also come, you have to understand that people that are diagnosed narcissistic, those things can develop from other things, from childhood wounds or other things. So please be gentle at times with the true meaning of what the scientific diagnosis of what narcissism is. Be cautious with the word, don't just throw it around. All right, so here, let's find out what this is about. This hangman upside down just wants to stay there. So we're going to ask. So we're going to see. So we're going to do transformation. And this is, a lot of people don't read the oracle cards in reverse. This is in reverse. This is telling me that transformation, that this is like this. In the middle of it, there's been some stalemate, like you're going through it. The transformation has been ugly, sticky. On a personal level, this is interesting as I'm talked about the person that gave me this deck and who cursed this deck. They were also trained in Kundalini as myself. The snake runs through the chakras. This is letting me know that there's some other crap going on that I've avoided, and I was correct in avoiding the crap. So there we go. Focus, too many things. So this reminds me, it's upside down. Focus, out of balance, too many things going on, can't keep their shit together. Focus is not there. I'm hearing to tell you that you need to go back into meditation, and whatever that form of meditation is. So people really get caught up in what meditation is. You don't have to sit still. You don't have to sit and think and let things come. If that doesn't work for you, don't do it. There are different forms of meditation that you can do. There are moving meditations, there are chants, there are things like that. You don't have to do that. If your form of meditation is going for a run, go for a run. If your form of meditation It's just going outside and going for a walk with your dog. Go for a walk with your dog. But allow that to integrate in what you do and what you think. The lessons in Tantra teach us that meditation is not just sitting still, that Tantra weaves through us and throughout the world with energy and everything. So if your body and your mind cannot sit still, which mine can't at times, and there are other times that I have the ability to sit so still, you don't even know I'm there. But there's other times my body needs to move. I'm probably going to be doing a little bit of both today. But recognize and know and understand. Do not beat yourself up for lack of meditation if you cannot sit still. If you are in the shower and you take a moment while you're in there to speak to yourself kindly, that is meditation. You are focusing on the inwardness of yourself. So don't let others tell you how you're supposed to meditate and how you're supposed to get to what you need. Do you? All right. This is going to be the last one we're going to pull out of the Oracle deck, and this is Vision with a Falcon. Keep your eye on the prize. We're talking about meditation and the visions that come and the things that you will see. Things will come in more clearly if you let go of some of the distractions around you. I can't, you say. I won't, I don't have time. Whatever. That's on you. Because the Eight of Swords tells you that you have the ability to cut your own shit. So whatever it is that you're dealing in and you're moving through, and we've got all these holidays coming up, use this cord. Use it. Understand that you have the ability with the Eight of Swords to free yourself from your own mind. Understand and know that you have everything you need. Everything you need. Everything you need, even if it doesn't feel that way. People talk about addiction, and we so frequently talk about addiction in terms of alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex. We also become addicted to ourselves and our thought processes. We get caught up in, I can't change, I can't do this, I've been doing it this way for so long, and this and that. Science tells us that things change. Nature tells us that things change. That we can both migrate our minds and our bodies and our energy into the next step of what we need to do. But I can't do that for you, and no one else can either. And recognize and understand that the messages that you receive and the things that you get, don't shoot the messenger. Whether it's a medium, where it's someone that's trying to give you a kind word, don't shoot the messenger. And because we're talking about this energy and this weirdness of being someone trying to curse you or whatever, and we're already at almost 40 minutes. We'll just make this a long reading and understand that that's where we are and we're going to speak about today. Maybe next week, because the weather is going to be good. I'll take you guys on a field trip. I'll take you guys on a field trip with me, and we will talk about other energies, people's expectations of you and your own energy. And we're going to talk about finding a fossil that I found last summer when everything was so dry. I'll take you to a field trip, take you on a field trip, and I'll take you to the space. And we'll do a meditation there next to the water. It'll be loud, but it's going to be beautiful. But the sun's going to be nice and the weather's going to be nice. So, field trip next week, story time. And we will do a reading without cards while we're in the forest. So, stay tuned. At some point, we're going to have lessons in divining rods. So that's coming. That'll probably come later in the winter. So here we go. You can see my face a little bit. And I'll tell you, I want to turn towards me just a hair and show you guys, just because we're talking about stuff. See, I'm going to show you my face right now. You can see all of this, all of this, all of this right here. Looks much better than it did. But I am not what you would call necessarily a vain woman. But just to have you guys be aware, to show you that don't be ashamed if your face is breaking out. This is from, I have PCOS, and I went into menopause, and then I had to get hormone replacement therapy last year, which has been a lifesaver. You know, some people it works for and some people it doesn't, so be cautious in doing that. I'm not saying for you to go do it. I'm saying I had to do it for myself. But with the testosterone and things that came with that, because I didn't have any in my body, I was crying all the time. That also brings back, you get acne with testosterone, especially if you have things like PCOS and you've had those issues in the past. And so the reason I'm telling you about this is not because I'm making excuses for my face, is because I want you to know that it's okay if your face is all broken out and you need to go out in public and you do whatever. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Nobody cares but you. On Friday night, on Saturday during the day, Friday night I was makeup to the hilt. Several layers of my things on. And by the next day it was all gone. And I went out in public with my whole face scarred up, looking much worse than it is now. Because I decided it was more important to heal my skin than it was to cake more shit on. And even though the stuff that I use is relatively, well, it's nice, I understand that I needed to let my skin heal. And also I get to tell you guys about that it's okay. And so here we'll share bracelets that were made for me by friends. Fuck fear. And Moon and Mascara. Love you guys. Thank you much. We're gonna close out now. I'd like to thank everyone for being here. Thank my guides. I bow. Left hand over my chest and right hand over at this time. We're gonna switch it up. Grateful to those that have come before me and those that walk on my path. May I lift my Ace of Cups from my Padre Mudra, from my Lotus Blossom, that I may have it filled with light and love, that I may share it with others. Satnam and Namaste. Bless you. Have a beautiful day.